You check your phone before you leave the house. Rain at 3, clearing by 6, a cold front rolling in overnight. You trust it completely, and you never once wonder how you know. Now take the phone away. Take the satellites away, the radar, the forecasters, the century of atmospheric science sitting quietly in your pocket. Put yourself on an open plain 40,000 years ago with a hunt planned, a camp to move, and a sky that is about to decide whether you live comfortably or die cold. You have no instruments, you have no words for pressure or humidity, and you still need to know what tomorrow's sky is going to do. So here's the question almost nobody thinks to ask about ancient humans. Not how they hunted, not how they made fire, but how they read the weather with nothing but a body and a sky. Because the popular assumption is that they didn't, that prediction is a modern trick, that ancient people simply endured whatever fell on them and prayed to whatever gods they had. That assumption is technically flattering to us and almost completely wrong. Ancient humans predicted the weather constantly, accurately, and with a level of skill that would embarrass most of us standing outside today. Start with the body, because the body is the first instrument. Weather is not magic. It is physics, and physics leaves fingerprints hours before the rain arrives. When a low-pressure system moves in, the air pressure around you drops, and that drop physically changes you. Your joints ache slightly as tissue expands against lower pressure. Your sinuses shift. Old wounds throb. This is the origin of the grandparent who feels a storm coming in their knee, and they are not imagining it. They are reading a barometer made of cartilage. Ancient humans lived inside their bodies far more attentively than you do, and those aches were data, gathered decades before anyone drew a weather map. But the body was only the beginning. The real skill was reading the world, and the world announces weather everywhere you look if you know the language. Smoke from the fire that hangs low and refuses to rise means the air above is heavy and damp, and rain is likely coming. Distant sounds that suddenly seem close, bird song carrying too far, means moisture in the air is bending the sound toward you. The smell of the ground sharpening, that earthy scent before a storm, is a real compound called petrichor, released as humidity rises. Ancient humans had no chemistry for it. They simply knew that when the earth smelled like that, you secured the shelter and you brought in the fire. Then there were the animals, and animals are the finest weather instruments evolution ever built. Birds fly lower before a storm because falling pressure makes high altitude thin and hard to work. Cattle lie down. Ants seal their nests. Swallows chase insects near the ground because the insects themselves have dropped in the heavy air. An ancient human who watched the animals was, in effect, reading thousands of tiny living barometers scattered across the entire landscape, each one tuned by millions of years of survival. You did not need to feel the pressure yourself when every creature around you was already reacting to it. You just needed to notice, and noticing was the whole discipline. And then they looked up, because the sky keeps the longest records of all. Every culture that has been studied independently arrived at the same truth about the color of the sky. A red morning sky warns of incoming bad weather. A red evening sky promises fair weather ahead, because in most of the world, weather travels from west to east, and the color tells you where the clear air already is. High, wispy clouds drifting in were understood as the front edge of a system a full day before it arrived. Halos around the moon meant ice crystals high above, which meant rain within a day. This was not folklore. This was a forecast, encoded in a rhyme so it could survive being passed down. Here's the part that should stop you. We tend to picture these signs as scattered superstitions, a bit of weather lore here, an old saying there. But that is not how an ancient mind held them. A skilled reader combined all of it at once, the ache in the joints, the flattened smoke, the low birds, the red sky, the ring around the moon, into a single converging judgment. This is exactly what a modern meteorologist does with data streams, except the ancient forecaster ran the entire model inside one attentive human brain, refined over a lifetime, and staked their family's survival on the answer. They were not guessing. They were computing with instruments we forgot we ever had. So the next time your app is wrong and you feel personally betrayed by the sky, remember that you are the descendant of people who read the same sky with nothing but their skin, their eyes, and their attention, and who were often right. We did not gain the ability to predict the weather. We outsourced it, and in doing so, we quietly stopped noticing the world that our ancestors could not afford to ignore. If you want to keep exploring how the first people actually thought, watch the story sitting right beside this one. It's already waiting for you.